Here's how I made $8,397 in 12 days without selling, and how you can too. Here's the secret sauce. Sell with stories, not high pressure sales tactics, also known as sell yourself. Today I will share with you everything. Now, you may be wondering, why is this important? Well, here's why. Let me ask you, have you ever been sold to before? If so, you probably hated it. All the high pressure sales tactics, the convincing scripts, etc. It just feels wrong. So, why are we going against human behavior when we try to sell? Sounds dumb, eh? Now, this is where stories come in. And here's mine. When I first started my agency, I had scripts for everything. Not only did this feel awkward, it also didn't work. Like, at all. And that's when I came to a realization I wasn't even being a human. So, what did I do? Well, I binge watched Dylan Wilson and Jeremy Lee Minor a shit ton. And what did I learn? When starting off in business, we need to sell ourselves, not our product, not our services, not our fake results. Just sell your story. And here is how that went. Boom. I'll move myself. Like, as you can see, things went well once I started to sell myself. Anyways, now, let's dive a little deeper. This is where you are, on the top of the pool, with some floaties on, and this is where we need to be. Down on the bottom of the ocean, with a scuba tank on, exploring, okay? Now, you may be asking, how do we get there? Well, let's go find that out. So, I've created this chart to share with you everything that I know, all the best practices, and all the ways that you can implement not selling or selling with stories into your own business so that you can see the success that I also did. Now, let's dive right in. How to sell with stories. Well, first off, people do business with people, okay? Remember that. Remember that people do business with people. And my best example is, if everyone chose the best, there would be no competition. There would only be one leader in everything. But that's not the case. Okay, the reason that you may buy Nikes versus Adidas, who knows? Maybe your favorite athlete wears Nikes. Okay? You have a reason. If there was one distinctive best, there would be no competition. But the reason why there's not is because there's a different best in everybody's eyes because of the story behind it. Now, here's a quick story for you, ironically. If you were to try and sell something to your family, whether that be lawn mowing, whether that be your SMA business, whatever that may be, if you try to sell it to your family, there's guaranteed a higher probability that they would buy from you rather than just some random stranger on the street. And you may ask yourself, well, why is that? And the answer is simple. They know your story. They know why you're trying to do it. They understand where you're coming from. They see a young 15-year-old hustler trying to make some money so he can buy his favorite video game. So they're going to buy from you, okay? Because they know your story and they trust you. Now imagine if everybody in the world was our family member. We'd all be rich. Because we'd have no problem selling. Because it wouldn't even feel like we're selling. When you try and tell your mom, hey, I'll mow the lawn for $10, you don't need a script. You don't need to convince her. You know, you're not trying to high pressure use sales tactics. Oh, mom, if you pay me today, I'll give you a 10% discount. None of that shit. It's none of that. She's buying into your story, right? You don't need to use these fancy sales tactics. You're just selling yourself, okay? Now, why is this important? Well, people do business with people, not things. So sell yourself and not your service. And I'm going to dive way more into this, but from a base level, right? You got to think about business is not as a transaction between two businesses. Think of it as two people. It's two people interacting with each other. So you got to find a way to sell yourself and not your business, not your service, not your product. Especially at the beginning stages, because you have no proof or you have no results to sell. If you are Grant Cardone and you have made thousands of people millions of dollars, okay, he still sells himself, as you can obviously tell on his social medias. He sells himself all the time. But he also has a lot of claims, a lot of results, a lot of proof to back up what he's selling. So he's able to do things a bit differently, okay? Whereas when we're starting out, we don't have results, okay? We don't have amazing case studies. And even if we do, when we're starting out, when we're young, people, despite what everyone says, people don't give a shit if you're young. If you're young, no matter how much you know, they're still not going to listen to you because you're younger than them. And you inherently come across as less knowledgeable and less wise, okay? Because you're younger. So be it. Accept it. So people out there, right now, if you're currently positioning yourself as with an offer like, I guarantee you 20 new appointments, if you don't have crazy case studies, okay, to back that up, you're likely going to fail, especially if you're starting out, even if you have crazy case studies. I see people all the time who have no case studies say, we get you 15 to 20 new leads, and it's like, what proof do you have of that? And people ask them that and they go, I haven't done it before. Then how can you guarantee 15 to 20 leads? You can't. So, instead of trying to make bold claims, own up to what you actually know and don't know. So, stop making huge offers, stop making bold claims, stop promising, and start to not sell. Instead of making these huge claims, I get 20 new leads, yada, 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 start to sell yourself. Hey, listen, to be honest with you, I'm a 20-year-old entrepreneur, and yes, I'm new to business, but I promise you, I will work harder than anybody else that you've ever hired because my whole future depends on me doing well for you. Try that script right there. I just made a script for you. It's not even a script, it's a story. That might be your story. Your story might have something related to your niche. I know a guy who's in the chiropractic niche because he, growing up as a kid, had to go to the chiropractor a lot and realized it's hard to get patients. So now he's in the chiropractic niche to try and help them with that. Okay? So, you want to sell yourself. And that was, if you can even go back, rewind, you can write down that little script. It's not even a script, it's just a story. Write down your situation. Share your story. Sell yourself. Instead of trying to pitch someone Facebook ads, say, hey, listen, growing up, my mom had a business, but she always struggled to get leads. So I started doing all the research I can to help her get leads so she could ultimately live the dream of having her own business. And in that process, I learned really well how to generate leads, and now I'm trying to apply that to the real world. Could I try this for you for free? Like, just whatever your situation is, I'm not saying make something up, it's your story, okay? Whatever your story is, sell your story. Boom. I hope that's a huge tip. Like, I can't stress that enough. Sell your story. Sell it in the DM, sell it on the sales call, sell your story, your story, your story. Sell you. Remember, we're selling ourselves, especially at the beginning stages of business. Sell yourself. Sell who you are. Sell what you're doing, okay? And that's not even selling. It's just storytelling, okay? So what do I mean by not selling? Well, simply put, you should be working with people that want to be with you and solve their problem. I oftentimes hear people say, oh, I'm going to try and sell people this, I'm going to try and sell people that. No, stop doing that. If that's you, stop, okay? Stop trying to sell things. Instead, try to solve people's problems. So instead of going into the car detailing niche to try and sell to them, go to the car detailing niche with the intention of trying to solve their problem of inconsistent leads so that business owner who's been running a business for 20 years can finally take a day off to spend with his family. Imagine you position it that way. You'll probably get a lot more clients, okay? Now, when you start your agency, you don't know shit. Own up to that and start learning. And I'm guilty of this, and I'm sure many of you are yourself, and this is the hard truth. Regardless of how much you know or don't know, own up to it. Own up, be transparent, mention you're new to business, mention you've never had a client. Be honest. I can't stress enough how far honesty goes. You saw the screenshots of all my Stripe payments. That's all from being honest. I've always been fully transparent and authentic with people. Whether they're my first client or my 20th client, I'll be honest with them, regardless of what it is, okay? Be honest. People value authenticity more than anything, especially in a world where there's plenty of scammers and people you can't trust. Be authentic and people will love you for that, okay? Now, back on the authenticity topic, just be yourself. Don't use scripts and just be you, okay? You don't need to go searching endlessly for the best cold calling script out there. I had a guy on my Discord right now asking, what's a good cold calling script? And I told him, just share your story, okay? Because that's all you really have to do. People, imagine this. People, business owners get cold called all the time. Hey, I'm so-and-so. I guarantee you that I can get you 20 new leads. Hey, I guarantee you that I can... No. Hey, how's your day going? Good. Now, listen, I know this is probably your 40th cold call of the day, but I promise you, I'm not every 15-year-old out there that's going to guarantee you 20 new leads. Do you care to hear me out? They're probably going to laugh. And I say, go ahead. Well, listen, to be completely honest with you, I'm a young entrepreneur. I'm 20 years old, and I'm new to this whole business game. But what I can guarantee you is that I will work harder than anybody else that's ever worked for you before, because my future depends on this. And guess what? You don't have to pay me a dime. I'm willing to do this all for free just so I can get some experience. Now, I don't want to take up any more of your precious time. If this at all sounds of any interest to you, would you mind maybe hopping on a call later and seeing if I could work for you for free? Now, I guarantee you, if you use that or something along those lines, you will get a much higher response rate, a much higher talk-through rate, especially if you're cold calling, okay? And a much higher conversion rate because you're selling yourself. You're being authentic. You're not coming across as every other person who's in their inbox, who's in their cold calls, telling them that they're the best new yada yada yada. You're actually catering to their needs, okay? You're not claiming something, because guess what? Maybe you can get 20 new appointments, but guess what? Maybe they don't need 20 new appointments. So why are you claiming something that people might not even need? Keep that in mind. Now, just gave you guys all the value. Let's keep going. Look at this beautiful picture of this guy here. Don't even know who he is, but I love the quote. Okay, sell yourself before you try to sell your company or your product. Because once you sell yourself, it's a lot easier to sell anything else. If you can sell yourself as a human being, people will trust you and buy from you, right? Like, I'm sure all of you know Alex Hormozi, okay? He has sold himself to you. If right now he launched a course on how to start your agency, you would buy it, and I guarantee you that you would. You know why? He sold himself. He's given you value, he's built up trust, and he's sold himself as a human being to the point where he can sell anything to anybody because of how he sold himself. Just keep that in mind, okay? Now, a couple more talking points before I let you go. Start your own business, start crushing it, making all the money in the world. Selling versus solving, okay? Don't mix these up. As a matter of fact, selling is solving, okay? Like, when you're selling, you're actually not selling, you're solving. You should be solving people's problems, not selling to people. You shouldn't be selling to people who don't have a vested interest, or, in what you have to offer, in the sense of what you do doesn't benefit them. If what you do does not benefit the prospect, what the fuck are you doing? So instead of thinking of how can I sell to people, think of how can I solve people's problems, and inherently you will get paid for that, okay? If you could right now book me, increase my lifetime value of my customer guaranteed by 2x, I will pay you an abundance of money. Okay? Now, bear in mind that's really hard to do. Okay? But the point is, if you can solve a problem that people have, people will pay you big bucks. Now, outreach. How do we apply this same formula, same thinking process to outreach? Well, simply put, I gave you the example for the cold call. It's just to be authentic. Be transparent. Don't be like every other person in their DMs, pitching them, saying, hey, we can get you 20 new leads or you don't pay. Like, whatever your offer is. We can edit the best videos. Come across as a genuine human being that's trying to start a business, and get some experience. Whatever your case is, be authentic. I promise you right now, if you switch your script from selling your product, okay, your service, to selling yourself, well, you will get an abundance more of replies, closes, yada, yada, yada. Okay, now, sales call. How do we apply this framework on the sales call? Well, let me be the first to tell you, every other sales video you've heard in the past, with the exception of Dylan Wilson's anti-sales system, shouldn't work for you right now. Now, I'm not saying that Jeremy Lee Miner's videos are bad. I'm not saying that the NAPQ framework isn't good. I'm just saying that when you're starting out, okay, as a 15-year-old agency owner, sitting here on the call talking to the prospect saying, so tell me, what would your life look like if you didn't get those new leads? No one's going to take you seriously because you're a 15-year-old fucking kid sitting here asking them about their business, their life. Okay? Don't be that guy. Don't be that 16-year-old kid or that 20-year-old kid that thinks they know everything, sitting there talking to them saying, so tell me, how does that make you feel? What the fuck do you know? Okay? Don't be that guy. Be the guy that's sitting there asking them, hey, how long have you been in business? Awesome, man. So, like, what are the things you've learned? Like, is there anything you can share with me? Build up a damn relationship with them, okay? Pretend that your sales call, scrap everything you've learned, pretend it's a first date. It's a first date with your new girlfriend. You're trying to learn about her while also sharing a bit about you, okay? That's what the call should be like. You're trying to learn about them so you can understand who they are as a person, okay, and what they're looking for, and share about yourself. Share your story, sell who you are. On a first date, you're selling you, right? You're selling the idea of yourself to be with that person. So do the same in sales, okay? And also, side tip, if you're wondering for a good close, here's a good close that I learned from Phil Bohol, but I use it as well now. And you just say to them, okay, well, listen up. Listen, Mr. Prospect, you know, to be honest with you, you know, business is much like the real world. And as much as I, you know, love to marry you right now, I understand that just like in the real world, we have to date a little bit before we can get married. So what I'm thinking is, how about we date for 2 weeks and see if we're compatible, okay? We'll just date for 2 weeks. We'll see how it goes. And if at the end of that 2 weeks we feel that we work well together, then let's get married. Okay? And I guarantee you that your close rate will go up because it's super good close. It's super funny. It's also really good. Okay? You're only getting them to commit to a 2 week thing, and then after that you can decide if you want to marry. And by marry I mean sign a long contract and work together forever. Cool. Now, back to the sales call thing. Just sell yourself. Okay? I cannot stress this enough. Sell the idea of why you're in business. Why are you here on the sales call in the first place? Well, you know, Mr. Prospect, you know, can I share my story with you? Can I be honest with you here? Yeah, go ahead. Okay. Well, to be honest, you know, ever since I was young, I always had a burning passion for business. And sitting in school, I just never got the fulfillment of listening to professors teach about business when they hadn't ran a business themselves. And then I came to the conclusion that I looked at my parents and they weren't happy doing what they were doing. So I realized I needed to change fast. And that's when I started this whole business. And at first I tried X, Y, and Z, but it just didn't work. But then I came across car detailing. And my dad's always been into cars. And I've always been into cars myself. So I knew what it was like for these car detailers, because I knew that, you know, it isn't easy to get new clients. And I know that you're working 12 hours days and that getting clients is the last thing on your mind. And so what I realized about myself is that more or less I'm the same. Anyway, whatever the case is, okay, sell yourself, sell your story. Like, I don't need to make it up for you because it's your story, your situation, your whatever you're in, okay? Now, last couple things here before I let you go and make a fuck ton of money. Starting out versus a non-newbie, okay? Starting out, this is the framework we want to use, okay? When we're a non-newbie, when we've got experience, when we know how to do sales, when we have results, when we have case studies, when we have testimonials, then we want to start to switch to the NEPQ framework or other selling frameworks where we can start asking the question about the problems, okay? So, keep in mind, when you're first starting out, getting your first 1, 2, 3 clients, use the framework of selling yourself. When you have 3, 4, 5 X clients, whatever, still sell yourself, but start to dive into the more problem questions. Like, so tell me, how does that affect you? Those kind of questions, okay? With that certain tonality, whereas in the beginning, that's not what we're focusing on at all. Now, last thing here, I'm sure you've all mowed a lawn in your life, okay? As a kid, and let me ask you a question. If some kid came up to you right now, I know most of you probably don't own a home or aren't even over the age of 20, but imagine if you're 30, your dad, and some 50-year-old kid, comes and knocks on your door, says, hey, can I mow your lawn? Now imagine there's 2 scenarios. One kid says, hey, can I mow your lawn? I guarantee you I'm the best lawn mower, and I do it better than all the other kids out there, yada, yada, yada. Oh, and then you say, oh, cool, what lawns have you mowed? And the kid says, oh, none so far. You're going to be like, what the fuck? Right? Versus, imagine if a kid comes up to you and says, hey, be a little nervous, right? Hey, I'm a 15-year-old kid. My name is Jackson, and I'm going around asking neighbors if I can mow their lawn so I can make enough money to buy the new video game that came out last week so I can play it with my friends. Could I mow your lawn, maybe? Tell me. Be honest. Who are you going to let mow your lawn? I know who I would pick, and it's the second guy who's authentic, sharing a story. I'm going to buy into him because I want to help him be able to afford that video game so he can play with his friends. Now, in business, they may be a bit bigger. You may be wanting to start a business so your mom never has to work a day again in her life. Sell that story. I hope that this video will help you tremendously in your sales world, in your business game, in every aspect, okay? Whether it's sales calls, scripts, whatever the case is, I hope that this helps you. Just remember, we should be selling ourselves in business, not our products, not our services, okay? Now, for anybody out there who's a young entrepreneur, who's an agency owner, who's looking to connect with like-minded individuals and, be held accountable and ask questions and share information, I have a free Discord community that you can join, link in the description, where we basically share our stories, share our wins, share our lessons in there every single day. And yeah, it's just a good vibe. I got nothing to sell you. It's a free Discord. And yeah, I wish you all the best. If you have any questions, DM me on Instagram, DM me on Discord. I answer every single person, answer every single question. Comment down below what my next video should be. Until the next time, peace out.